thing party.
What is going on, everybody? It is Fitz Miller and the Skyline back here with another video. Today this is something I've been wanting to get in for probably the last 6 months, and that is my 1.5 almost 2-year review with my 32 Skyline. So without further ado, boys and girls, let's just jump right into the video. Alright, now I feel like I should offer a little bit of backstory for those new people who are just now joining us on the channel or find this video far in the future. This is my 1992 R32 Skyline GTS4. This was initially all-wheel drive. I deleted the front axles. We have D2 coils front and rear. We have full GK Tech arms and then custom extended lowers. Other than that, we have a GTR front end, front bumper, fenders, lip, aftermarket hood, Vertex skirt, and some sort of rear bumper cover. I initially thought it was Vertex, but now I'm not so sure. We have a full straight pipe with blast pipes, Series 2 tails, so the body line goes through the tail light, and a pretty simple interior. Let me show you guys. We got the wheel, we got a GTR passenger seat, we have a Recaro driver's seat. Let me show you guys under the hood. Under the hood, we are sporting a mostly stock RB20. We have a Greddy intercooler kit, we have a HKS cold air intake, we have a little blitz cap, and then just other little goodies spread out throughout the engine bay. So as you guys can see, this thing is mostly stock power-wise. So one of the last little touches in this engine bay is my block blow-off valve. People say that's worse for the turbo. I personally don't care. I don't believe it's that much worse for a stock turbo running stock boost. So the turbo flutter is absolutely insane on this car, and so is the exhaust. All right, now you guys know a little bit more about my car. We can dive right into this review. I've had this car, like I said, for about 1.5, 2 years now, and this car has been absolutely perfect maintenance wise. The only time this car has broken down, been any sort of bad for me, was when it's something I've done myself. So when I added a whole bunch of front camber, my axle popped out, I found out my wheel bearing was bad, and the car was down for like 2 months trying to get all these parts in. It was kind of difficult to get parts. We'll talk about that in the future, but overall reliability of this car has been absolutely insane. And for those of you guys that might not know this, I dailied this car when I was in school for like 6 to 8 months, and then I've dailied it off and on since then. This car has been absolutely amazing, reliability wise, comfort wise. This is just such a good car to modify, such a good platform, and then such a good daily when you need it to be as well. So if you guys are just walking up to the car in its current state, it doesn't look like anything special. At the end of the day, it is just an old Nissan from the 90s. And don't let the right-hand drive scare you into thinking that this thing is fast or super sporty or anything crazy like that. While this car was Nissan's sports sedan of the 90s compared to the Laurel, which was the luxury sedan of the same time, this thing's nothing too crazy. It does come back to just being a 4-door sedan. Cool, it has a turbo, it's nothing crazy. I'm just gonna dive into the pros and cons of owning this vehicle over the last 1.5 years. We're just gonna start with the pros because there's almost too many to list. Let's do it. Pro number 1, and I kind of already talked about it, it's the reliability of this car, even though it's almost 30 years old. The gas mileage on this thing is actually pretty good, being a turbo inline 6 from the 90s. While the gas mileage isn't always the best, I don't drive this thing every day anymore. I don't need to. This isn't exactly a road trip vehicle. So sitting in here, it is actually pretty roomy. I'm 6'3", I have no troubles at all driving this car. The real issue lies when you want to go out to lunch or go out to dinner with your friends and they're like, hey man, can we just ride with you? Let me show you guys what the back seats are like. This is what you guys are working with when it comes to the back seat space. This car was not made for the American market. It was made for the Japanese market in the 90s. And yes, while you can move the front seat forward a little bit, you still are just not gonna have a whole lot of room in the back seats of this car. With the R32 lacks in rear seat foot space, it makes up for in a massive trunk, which has been so helpful over the years, carrying wood, jacks, wheels, tires, anything and everything. This thing's got a big old trunk. Let me show you guys. Now, it is a little dirty this second, but this can fit 2 or 3 full-size golf bags, and with ease. This can fit backpacks, duffel bags, anything you need it to back here, and that is just another reason why I love this car so much. To this day, I will still walk to the other side of the car to get in the passenger seat, since this thing is right-hand drive. That is probably the only thing I haven't gotten used to on this car. Everything else comes second nature within the first week or two of driving it. So when you guys go to get in this car, you'll get in, you'll reach for the shifter, and you'll smack your hand on the door. That's what I did. The next thing you'll do is look up and to the right to find your rear view mirror to figure out it's not up and to the right, you're just looking out the window. It's actually up and to your left. Couple other things to note, the blinkers are on the right side and the wipers are on the left. That is switched. The speedo gauge is in kilometers. You can do the conversions, like I said, in the first week and get used to it from there on. Other than those few little things, this is just a normal car. It is an awesome, normal, dailyable car that can always get rowdy when you need it to as well. So we've talked about reliability, we've talked about comfort, we have talked about most of the pros for this vehicle. Let's get into the cons. Let's talk about some of the worst quote-unquote things about this car. A couple cons people might bring up about this car is, well, the cost. You know, these things are really expensive. You have to import them from Japan, and they can be expensive to maintain or get parts for. That isn't always the case. I will admit parts have been a little bit harder to find, but if you do an ounce of research, if you spend 30 minutes on Google, chances are you can find what you need for this car. And sure, a lot of you guys are also probably Americans, and you know, you guys are hitting the drive-through often. I get it. Trust me, I do it myself. Take the extra 30 seconds to park and walk in instead of having to reach over through the drive-through, which, to be honest with you guys, really isn't that bad. I went to Starbucks this afternoon. You just pull up, unbuckle, give them your card. It's not that different. This car also does not have cup holders. Again, it's not the end of the world, but it's just a little convenience that you will find if you end up dailying this car. Going back to talk about parts for just a minute, the aftermarket support for the R32s are just absolutely insane. You can find 32s a lot cheaper now compared to 33s and 34s, although they are getting expensive. If you guys are looking for compatible parts for the R32, you're gonna be looking for Z32 parts. For just a regular GTS-T, they share the same suspension. Since mine's a GTS4, I have GTR suspension, but other than that, there are still a lot of compatible fluids, brake parts, suspension parts, and engine parts as well. Something else that people fail to realize about these cars is, while you are paying a premium for a right-hand drive car in America, they are going up in value. For those of you guys that remember me having the couch accident, completely destroyed the bumper, the lip, part of the fender, and some of my door. At that time, it was just a short time period after buying this car, and it had already gone up in value. When I got this car, what I paid for it at the time was considered a little bit high. I was okay with that since it was low mileage, it already had cool parts on it, and it was reliable. That's all I needed to know. The keyword there, guys, was at the time. This thing has gone up in value so much. I don't plan on getting rid of it in the future, but if there's an emergency, this thing is not going out of style or depreciating anytime soon. Some other common occurrences with my R32 might include thumbs up from random strangers, both who do understand what this car is and others who just think, oh my god, his steering wheel's on the wrong side. That's crazy. Well, it's not all that crazy. I guess seeing this for the first time would be pretty wild. Alright, so I feel like I've covered most of the basics with this car. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on, give you guys a little sound clip. Enjoy. Also, on imported cars, or imported Japanese cars I should say, there's no clutch safety switch, so you can just turn it on without pushing in the clutch. This is a warm start, by the way. I've been driving around all day just because I love this thing so much. Once again, a very, very, very healthy RB, and I couldn't be more thankful for how reliable this car, this motor, everything has been to me over the last year and a half. So let's see if we can get a little turbo flutter going. Tiny little one. I don't want to make too much noise around here, but we'll get a clip out on the street. Here's a little pull for you guys. Overall, I would 1000% get another one of these just to have to, man. This thing has been exceptionally well in everything I could think of. I don't know why I wouldn't want to buy another one. This thing is so much fun, and like I said in the beginning, this thing has been nothing but reliable and really good to me as well. So I guess I should give it a Doug score, a FItz score, and I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10, man. I love this thing to death, and like I said, I would get another one in a heartbeat. So anyways, guys, this has been Fitz Miller and the 32 back here with another video. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will be looking forward to seeing you guys in the comments of this video and the next one as well. So go down, hit that subscribe button for the flutter. I will see you guys in the next one, man. Have a great night.